going to make a soup and cracker that will get a handle. So first I'm going to center it. And I'm just peeking at you through the camera because, you know, here I am at work, no makeup, so I'm trying to hide a little bit. So first I'm going to center the clay. I have my arms anchored on my legs or the edge of the splash pan. I'm just scoot back a little. Getting it centered. Then I'm going to pick a spot towards the outside of this clay and press down. Get it a little more wet. And I just keep pressing until I'm almost to the back. Not quite. I'm ½ inch up. Then I take my middle finger and thumb and press from the bottom to the top to thin out the wall. Then I use my sponge to soak up the extra water. With plates, gravity plays a big role, so if it's too wet, it's going to want to flop. And I take my 2 middle fingers with my arms anchored, again, always, and I press to thin this wall out and pull it out. And that is the plate portion, but I'm going to leave it a little high for now so that gravity doesn't make it fall, because I'll be working on the bowl in just a second. And right now I'm using my pen tool to trim off the uneven edge. And then I use my sponge to clean up that edge I just cut. And then I just leave that alone while I work on the bowl part. I just take my finger and find the center and press down and then pull it towards myself to make a hole. I take my pen tool to poke the middle to see how thick it is, and it's about, I don't know, ½ inch thick, which is just fine. Don't want to go any thinner. So I got it wet again, and I'm pressing down just a little and then pulling towards me again. Then I'm going to take my middle finger and thumb, just like I did with the plate, and I'm going to press the bottom of the bowl and then pull up. Kind of go in a medium speed. To center it, I go fast. To thin out the walls, I go medium. And then when I get to the edges, anywhere it's thin, I slow down. Right now I'm using my sponge to press down and out on the bottom to compress the clay to prevent cracking. Then I take my 2 middle fingers and go on the outside and inside of the bowl portion of this soup and cracker. I start at the bottom and slowly make my way up. So I'm thinning out the walls and I'm also pulling them out and up. And I slow down a little more when I get towards the top. Then I use my rubber rib to press down on the bottom and compress to prevent the cracking. This can be done with a sponge, a finger, a rib, metal rib, wooden rib, rubber rib, whatever floats your boat. Then I'm going to thin out the walls again, make this bowl a little wider. Slow down at the edge where it's most likely to tear. Gently let go. And I take my pen tool to trim off the edge so so that it's even and a little thicker. Then I use my sponge to clean up that edge that I cut, just barely touching it, using 2 fingers and a sponge to brace it and clean it up. And then I'm going to clean up the bottom. Now that the bowl's done, I'm going to go back in and make the plate a little bit lower so it can hold sandwich or crackers. Have both my arms anchored on my legs. And so my top hand is kind of pushing down a little, and the bottom hand is counteracting that, just bracing it. And I'm going really slow here so I don't rip it. Okay, that's about the height I want. Felt a little bumpy on the edge, so I'm going to trim that again. And I'll clean that up with the sponge. Just get all the little bumps off of it using my finger and the sponge, cleaning up any marks that my fingers made. And it's done. I'm just going to take my pen tool and cut a line at the base of the piece where it attaches to the bat, which is this plastic piece. The disc attaches to the wheel. And since this is going to have a handle on it, I find a spot to pull up on it here, and it will attach to the bowl, and after it dries some, I'll attach a handle. So to make any attachments with clay, you have to score it. I just use a fork, and I just scratch in some marks here on both surfaces. And then I press them together gently. Just kind of get them to seal together. And I take my sponge and clean off any fingerprints. And get these 2 edges to seal together a little. Make sure it looks even. And then I'm going to let it dry up a little bit, get leather hard, and I will cut off this risen up part so that it's even with the bowl, and I'll attach a handle then. And that is a soup and cracker. Thank you.